Blast me to Electia! It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey, Issue 57, Part 1. Lore and Build Guide. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. So we are on issue 57 today and we're going to take a quick look through our build and paint guide as well as all the new lore we get in this issue. And the model we get in this issue is this guy, the Tombblade. So same ones we had in the previous issue, but this time we're going to be building him slightly differently. But before we get into that, here is today's question of the video. So out of the Necron models we've had so far, which has been your surprising favourite? To me, I think it has to be these Tombblades. I've never much liked them as a unit. The Necron fast attack unit for me has always been the classic destroyers. But I do find these are quite nice. They carry smaller weapons, so not as potent as the destroyers would carry. But these are perfect, swift little vehicles that can get to objectives and pack out enough firepower to eliminate most squads that will sit on objectives. So yeah, these have surprisingly won me as my favourite unit so far that I've never had before. But let me know which yours is in the comments down below, and we can have a good discussion there. Right, we'll have a look at this in a minute, and we'll also have a look through our magazine. So I'll just set up the overhead cam. So here we have our frame with our Tombblade on. We got the crescent shape of the actual bike itself, the Tombblade pilot, and our various weapon loadouts. So the ones we'll be using on this one is the Tesla carbines here. We've already used the Gauss blasters, and we'll be using the particle caster in the third and final one we get of these. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be building up with these and keeping them at that, or swapping over between the two later on. I'm not too sure yet, so I'll see how I feel after I've got the basic body of it built. We've also got all the various different upgrades that the Tombblades can take. The shield veins, which will be giving them a better armor save. We've got the scope here, and the dish as well, plus the extra shield vein there. And to mount our model, we've got ourselves a nice round base and a flying stand with two tool flying stands. So I think I'll go with probably the larger one this time around. I think I had a smaller one on my previous one, and he's pretty low to the ground, so it'd be nice to have one a little different. So here we have our magazine for issue 57, and it covers what we're going to be seeing in this issue. So we read about Saint Celestine, one of my favourite characters in all of Warhammer lore. We build and paint our Tombblade with some updated paint guides to add to our warriors as well. And we have a choice of army lists for our battle, which we'll do in a separate video. So this magazine comes with our one model, and that is our second Tombblade. So we've got new lore for Saint Celestine, the Living Saint, Warzone Siphosa, the Deathwatch chapters of Space Marines, the Non-Militant Orders for the Sisters, and we have a fold-out for Warzone Electia. Building, painting our Tombblade, and forcing a breach is our new initiate mission. So first off, we've got background for Saint Celestine, the Living Saint. With angelic wings, a blazing halo of light, and the ardent blade in hand, Saint Celestine is an embodiment of the God Emperor's might. Through the fire and smoke of battle, she radiates holy light, filling the faithful with strength and causing heretics to recoil in terror. So it is said that Celestine was once a Sister Repentia from the Order of Martyr Lady. During the Palatine Schism, she would find in a crypt the hallowed relics of St. Catherine, the golden armour of St. Catherine, and the ardent blade. When she picked these relics up, she was imbued with holy powers, and wings erupted from her back and lofted her up. Swarms of doves appeared out of nowhere, which she commanded to attack the enemies, and her sword can be turned into a flamer weapon, said to be bringing part of the Emperor's powers from across the galaxy. She is often accompanied by the Gemini Superior, a pair of bodyguards who will wear the same gold armor as she does, but will lay down their lives for her. She does also have the power to bring them back, so there is a rumour they are also spectral. Celestine was updated into wonderful plastic model. At the same time, we got Belisarius Cawl and Inquisitor Greyfax. She was integral in the resurrection of Guilliman, as well as the defense of Cadia, where she fought Abaddon, who almost slayed her, but Greyfax intervened and saved her. There is a bit of a romance, apparently, between these two, so I have been told. So, reborn again and again, Celestine has died many times, but each time she has been brought back to life from the brink of absolute destruction. And here we see her ahead of a huge army, Battle Sisters, Black Templars, and Guard during the defense of Cadia. Again, there's Greyfax, Sisters of the Martyred Lady there. And she is a divine champion imbued with powers of the Emperor. Some say she is a demon prince of the Emperor, even though she isn't really a demon. She is a celestial being. But that's that. Moving on, we've got background on one of the many war zones of the Imperium. This one is Siphosa. So as the war for Vigilus grew to consume more worlds, more and more Space Marine chapters dispatched troops to join the fight. Many months of brutal campaigning soon ensued. So this details the Siphosa campaign, where weak from a long campaign of battles, Space Marine chapters came to the Siphosa system to rearm and refuel. But upon approaching their planets, they were hailed by traitorous Vox networks, and basically were turned upon as soon as they got there. The Merlins Warriors headed for Ayat, Black Templars for Hederath to aid the Sisters, and the Raven Guard began a shadow war on various planets. So here's a couple of the chapters. The Fire Lords and the Mantis Warriors were some of the ones that were hoping to refuel at Siphosa. Eventually, though, they managed to weaken the the heretical forces, and elements of the Imperial Fists, Black Templars, and the Mantis Warriors and Fire Lords soon came in and helped reclaim some of the fallen systems. Hederath was a feudal world with plenty of Sisters of Battle, Covenants, etc. on there. This was aided by the Black Templars, who share their love for Zeal and the God Emperor. Moving on, we have the Death Watch. So this is a unique chapter of Space Marines who hunt the aliens. So Death Watch, the shield that slays. The Death Watch are responsible for defending the Imperium from the predations of the galaxy's many Xenos species. For thousands of years, the Death Watch have remained true to this task, drawing their numbers from almost every Space Marine chapter. Here we have a lovely shot of a Death Watch kill team in action. A mix of Primaris and Firstborn. We got Cassius here from the Ultramarines. Got a Dark Angel, a Space Wolf, a Blood Angel, a Black Templar, a Reaver, and an Aggressor there. So the Death Watch are, as the quick blurb there does say, a unique chapter. They have spent many a century studying the ways to defeat the Xenos. In order for a Space Marine to be sent from a chapter to join a Death Watch, they must have the blessing of the chapter master, their company captain, the apothecary, and the chaplains as well. Of course, when they do join a Death Watch, they tend to shed all ties to their parent chapter, with only a single shoulder pad remaining the original chapter colour. The rest of their armour is sprayed black, except for the left arm, which is painted in a silver with the skull and crossbone on top of the inquisitorial eye, which is the chapter icon. They have various tools to help them hunt the aliens. So we've got the Xeno Phase Sword, which is Necron in origin, or so they say. The Frag Cannon, which is exclusive to the Death Watch. And they have various specialist ammunitions, including gas shots, vengeance rounds, and dragonfire shells, and even a vengeance acidic round. And each and every Space Marine within the Death Watch is a specialist, and again they come from every chapter known to the Imperium. So before we get to the fold out, our final bit of background in the magazine is all about the Non-Militant Orders. So this is the different sister support networks. So the daughters of the Emperor were more than just warriors. Many of them served the Emperor in other ways. Perfecting a range of disciplines, many of these disciplines are still practiced by specialized non-militant orders. So first and foremost, we've got the Orders Hospitaller, who send medics to the length and breadth of the galaxy. They are responsible for returning injured soldiers to battle and even performing the last rites for those that are too wounded to carry on. Then we have the Orders Dialogus, who are experts at translations of both human and Xenos and blasphemous texts. They will also transfer prayers and orders from Canoness to mass troops. We have the Orders Famulus, who are the chamberlains and advisors of the higher ranking sisters. And we have the Orders Pronatus, who are actually in charge of all the relics owned by all the different orders. Right, I'll just bring in the fold out. We'll have a look at that before we move on to our build guide. So here we have our fold out for Warzone of Ramesses Electia. So this is just another one of our fold out sections. And it focuses on the Warzone of the past 20 issues, which was Electia. So we've got all the different places of battles. So you've got the Electia mission, the Varnov Peaks, the High Spires, and of course the Basilica of St. Marcius. It was of course the first battle in the campaign where the Triarchs of the Silent King were introduced. And I've got the wind blowing through the window. Hang on a sec. That's better. And of course we see the fanatical defenders in form of the Sisters of Battle there. So there we have that. So we'll move on to our build, and I'll cover the paint guide as, of course, I'll be painting mine slightly differently. So here's our build guide, and for the most part it goes the same way as our previous one. So we are building the actual body of the bike and the rider itself the same as our previous one. Then up to stage 4, again it is pretty much the same. So we're adding on all the arms, etc. here. It's just a thing I've just noticed. It shows the arms attached there, but then it shows them being attached here, so weird. But then this is where things get different. So on stage 6 we add the Tesla carbines to the rear of the bike and the blade vanes to the front there, which is different to our previous model, which had the guns at the front and the vanes at the back. Adding the nebuloscope here to the back of our Tomb Blade, and then again we're adding the shield vanes to give him the extra armor. And finally we got our flying stand. So moving on to this issue's paint guide, it's much the same as the previous one for the Tomb Blade. So we're painting all over Runod Brass, picking out the black details of Abaddon Black, picking out the silver details of Leadbelcher, Corax White on all the white areas that will be glowing later on. Then we're picking out certain armor panels with Canoptic Alloy before giving a Cryptic Armor Shade Gloss to all the areas we've done with Runod Brass. Norn Oil to the Leadbelcher details. Right and Flesh Shade to the Canoptic Alloy details. So next up we start highlighting, and we're putting Dawnstone over all our black details. Stormhouse Silver over all our different metallics. And finally, on the highest points of the black areas, we are putting a touch of Administratum Grey. Moving on, our expanded paint guide for our Necron Warriors. So we're applying Reichland Flesh Shade to all the areas we've painted with Canoptic Alloy, Cryptic Armor Shade Gloss to all of the areas that were Runod Brass. Then we're actually highlighting all our silver areas with Stormhost Silver, so that's the Runod Brass, Canoptic Alloy and the Leadbelcher details. Then our black, we're painting Dawnstone first, then a fine highlight of Administratum Grey. And then Necron basing, we are using Astrogranite Non-Oil and a dry brush of Dawnstone. And there's our two Tomb Blades and a representation of the two different types of Necron Warrior we have. Well, it does look pretty good. Mine, of course, will be different. It'll be green like my previous one. So we'll just see how things go. So that is it for issue 57 of Imperium. Well, part 1 anyway. I'm off to build this guy up. Don't forget to leave your comment down below which has been one of your favourite Necron kits or units that we've had so far. And we'll have a little discussion in the comment section down below. It helps push the channel up in being noticed. It'll be quite nice to get some feedback from all of you as well. So yeah, I'm off to build this. And all that's left for me to do is to say thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe, especially if you like mad content. And I will be back for part 2. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.